just the last 2 seasons, just looking at the analytics, the high danger chances are there. He's getting shots off at good spots. So what's the next step for him to be producing at the rate that he was accustomed to for the first 8 years of his career?
Yeah, I didn't realize the analytics are as solid as you've said, but there's more intent to his game coming into this camp. There's more intent in practice. Um, you know, I can't speak for why that was in the past. I just know his work to correct it or to get to where he wants to be, not get to where he was, get to where he wants to be, and that's scoring more regularly. Uh, he's definitely doing the right things. There's more intent to what he's doing in practice and his focus. I see a greater commitment to um, achieving that. He wants to score. We know that. A lot of times it's how bad do you want it, and I've seen that that intensify that focus and effort.
So what can John Hayden bring?
Hayes is a incredible teammate and team player. He's probably whatever fight he's had in the NHL is for his teammate. I can tell you that. I had him at the U.S. program, and he was the ultimate teammate there. And I was in Chicago with him too, so I know him very well. Physicality, he loves to bump and grind and play along the walls, play in front of the net. He just loves to engage in physical battles. So who doesn't like that as a coach or a team? So he brings that all the time, and even in practice, and that helps us in practice as well. He's always ready for practice and elevating the physicality and intensity there.
This offseason, when you guys were sort of assessing what your needs were, I mean, was that really those traits that you sort of just mentioned? Because Ryan McKinnis sort of has those as well. Was that sort of a target for you that you wanted more players with that sort of, being able to hang on the pucks down low and forechecking and things like that?
Yeah, and Murray does an incredible job for us too. I mean, he just keeps getting better and better in that area of the ice and those aspects. But yes, that's a big part of the game to be able to hang on to a puck, lug a puck, make the other team work harder for it, and obviously the other area. So there's no question we were looking and saying, hey, can we add this? Can we add more grit and maybe more size? When you look at the rest of our lineup, you'll see a lot of speed, a lot of quickness. So those two guys, as I mentioned, they're very complementary players to the rest of the group.
As far as Will Butcher goes, I mean, he's a guy who came in the league, he had an impact right away. But kind of solid for him in New Jersey. Can you sense that he's looking forward to that fresh start this year?
Yeah, he is. I spoke with him a couple times or multiple times before the season started, and he couldn't. Very excited for the opportunity ahead, the ice time. We've talked about it a lot amongst this group here. When a player can't play, it's the worst thing in the world. I mean, they're players; they want to play, and he experienced that last year. He wasn't allowed to play, and was a healthy scratch for numerous games. So he comes in with a hunger. I mentioned yesterday or 2 days ago that he pulled me aside and said, "I'll play as many exhibition games as I can. Put me in." He said he just wants to play, and he's a rink rat type of player. He just loves to play the game, whether it's practice or a game. And I think last night he was probably he stood out to me as the one player that looked like he was in mid-season form. We had other experienced players in the game with Bjorky and Hinostroza and Gergensen. And if I'm using that game as a gauge, I can see those guys aren't even close to where they can be in another 3 days a week in a month. And yet Will was making plays as if he was already in mid-season form. So that was nice to see.
You had him, I guess, 9 years ago at the program?
Yeah.
What do you remember about him as a kid like that?
He looks pretty much the same. I mean, he can make plays. He wants to make plays. He has a resilience. He gives up a lot of size to competitors. Maybe speed. But he makes up for it in intelligence and commitment to getting a job done. if it's a 45-second shift or he gets stuck out there for a minute and a half, he doesn't stop competing. Like there's no, and he's intelligent about it. He'll pick the moment that he can jump and engage, and the moment he needs to preserve a little energy. So he's really, in more of the unique class of player in the NHL that he came in, and he a lot of players make the NHL just on their sheer ability, and then they gain intelligence through their career and become more efficient. He was the exact opposite. He was, far beyond his years in intelligence and efficiency when he entered the NHL, and he needed to, or he wouldn't have been able to do that. So you see that in these games, and I'm just happy he's here, and I think he can help us throughout.
When you say mid-season form, is that game shape or is that decision making?
Decision making, yeah. It's interesting. You run the drills and practices, and the guys look good in practice, but it's hard for them to carry that over to the game yet because they're just not in. They're in essence they're trying to survive out there with the pace and the physicality because they haven't had that through the off season. Nobody has, so that's the importance of the preseason. But so there's a lag between what you're implementing in a practice between that and when they can actually start implementing that in a game. And with Will, he can do that right away. Dolls is another guy that can do that pretty darn quick. And then that lag tells you where you're at as a team from the coaching side. And that's what I saw to Will last night. He was his reads were outstanding. His plays were very good. He logged 28 minutes or something, so that's not easy to do.
You made a little tweak to the D pair for two, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Did it get the desired result?
Yeah, I probably should have done it a little sooner. And Davidson is another guy like Hayden is a great leader to the guys around him, and he's done that with Laxton. He did that in Rochester just a little bit last year, which I knew of. And Laxie had it was his first game last night, so there's some anxiety there, and we didn't make that switch and put Davidson with him till the third. But I thought that helped Laxie at that point, and it was a good job by Davidson, definitely.
Did you feel like it was good for Bryson and Fitzgerald?
It was too, yeah, it was. I think it was. Those guys were familiar with each other as well from Rochester, and I've coached both those guys. I've coached Fitzy quite a bit too, and they're very complimentary players.
Last week we saw Pat Rice's come out with the Donnie Meatball shirt. And yeah, it's a little silly, it's a little goofy, but the proceeds from this are going to Mental Health America. So when you see something like that, I mean, what's that mean to you to kind of benefit a cause like that?
Yeah, it is a little goofy. There's no question. I was asked about it, and I said I will embrace this for it needs to be for a good cause, and I certainly don't want to benefit from it. But if it can benefit others and people have fun with it, enjoy it, I'm all for it. And we came up with that, and I'm excited at the potential that we can give back to something that's important.
Is there a reason you picked Mental Health America?
No, I think there's just there's lots of incredible causes. I had to pick one, and I feel that's a really, really good one. For whatever reasons throughout life and relationships and people, I think that's one that seems to be somewhat maybe underrated or underestimated of possible importance. So yeah, but nothing specific. I would say just lots of life experience through the years.
Robert Hagg, what have you learned about him? He came in here the other day and he was making jokes. And you could
Good.
tell he seems very comfortable. What have you learned about him in the past couple of weeks?
Well, I'm glad to hear. I say good when you mention he's able to relax and have jokes and whatever, and that's a big part of things. Guys, I want players to be themselves. I want to see the personality, as long as they get their job done. And he is ultra competitive. He came here when we made that trade. I hopped on the phone with him upstairs right moments after we made the trade, and he, you never know what the other side of that line is going to be. He was in Sweden, and it was just a flood of excitement for him. I can't wait to get to Buffalo. I have a wedding, in early August in Philadelphia. When I get there, I'm just driving right to Buffalo. I'm going to stay there till training camp, and just that energy and excitement out of him was very impactful for me, to get a guy that's hungry and excited to be here, sees this as a huge opportunity, and he has a lot of experience and hindsight that we speak of so often, that he wants to be better. He wants to become a better hockey player and make more of an impact. I see that intent, and I see the preparation and commitment he has. Like I said, he came here early and trained. He was the only guy here at times training with our staff on his own. Even on weekends, he was biking, with our strength coach on his own. So here in Buffalo. So I was very happy with that, and obviously we can't get enough of those type of attitudes. Yep. Take care, guys.